is Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin is actually considered in the United States of America as a property, and that's how the IRS sees Bitcoin. However, in other places in the world, it's considered a digital currency, like Japan, for instance.
And when did it come into existence?
In 2009 is when the blockchain was just started, the program, and then directly after that, Bitcoin was created.
And when did you start to hear about it and start using it?
Originally, I heard about it in 2012. So I went to a Bitcoin conference in Miami and got a lot of great information.
And why were you interested in it when you heard about it?
I really was more interested in the marketing side of things as a business owner. So I saw a lot of buzz on the internet, and I was like, what is this Bitcoin thing? And when I read a lot about it and realized that it was considered the world's first digital cryptocurrency, it caught my attention.
Break that down even more. Cryptocurrency, what does that mean?
Cryptocurrency, well, I think this is a better question for Clifford.
Okay.
Well, what a cryptocurrency is it's a digital currency. A crypto coin is created through a process called mining. A computer has a particular calculation that it has to complete. Now, once it completes that, it's rewarded with a block. The block that's created is connected to the block before it and the block after it, creating a blockchain. That block itself is then broken down into smaller portions or percentages of a particular coin, and that's what you see actually traded. So it breaks down, just like to dollars you have pennies, to Bitcoin you have Satoshi. So when you look at one coin, it'll break down to smaller increments in terms of Satoshi, or they'll use it in decimal increments according to what particular coin. So that explains the basic process of it and how it's created. But a Bitcoin itself is just like any other currency. It's a fiat currency. It's not backed by gold or silver or any particular commodity, but its value is only there because people are willing to accept it. So just like if you have any other token for anything, this coin works under that same principle.
And we're seeing it more often now. Let's talk about what happened between 2009 and last week when everyone just all of a sudden started talking about it.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing turn of events that has occurred over time. But some of the early people that have supported Bitcoin in general are people like Sir Branson from Virgin Atlantic. So he accepts Bitcoin for flying around, Other people like Overstock.com, you can go on and buy products on Overstock.com. So Bitcoin actually is pretty mainstream right now. It's just catching on in the States. However, the Asian countries have been well informed about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and they're using them.
So one Bitcoin today equals how much US dollars?
Right now, I believe when we came in,
17,600, something around there, between 17,500 and 18,000 somewhere.
So if I'm going to buy a flight on Virgin Atlantic, is it?
Sure, yeah.
I can use the
Bitcoin. Satoshi.
Because obviously my flight's not going to be $17,000, so I'm not going to use one Bitcoin.
Right, yeah. It just, that's deceiving to people because they often hear that one Bitcoin is worth this much money, but you could buy $5 in Bitcoin, $10 in Bitcoin. You don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. So.
And why would I want to buy Bitcoin instead of just using my $5 at a store? Why would I want to pay in Bitcoin?
The first thing that you should know about Bitcoin is that it was $1,000 in January, and now look at it, right? So why wouldn't you want to invest in Bitcoin at this point? There's nothing right now that I know of personally, stock-wise, that will make you this much money in this range of time.
So how do I even do that? Who do I give that money to?
Obviously, the easiest way to invest in it would be to create a Coinbase account. But the thing to know about Coinbase is that it's not a wallet. It's considered like a bank kind of for your Bitcoin, an exchange. So in order to secure it, you're going to need to download a wallet, which would be like a blockchain wallet. But the easiest way for people, and it's actually just become the #1 app on iTunes App Store, it has been Coinbase. So that's really the easiest way to create the account and just to transfer the money from your bank account to Coinbase, and then you can invest. I think they have three currencies now, or 3 coins now. So it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin are the 3 main ones on Coinbase.
Is Bitcoin the best?
So Bitcoin has had the most growth, but since then they've had other companies like Ethereum who have taken Bitcoin and kind of applied their own kind of business models to that blockchain technology. So Ethereum is similar to Bitcoin in that it's a digital currency, but they also have these things called smart contracts, which basically allows people to build computer programs on that blockchain. So it's real estate contracts, for example, can be automated through that blockchain. And Bitcoin is kind of just focused on that currency side, and Ethereum is more on that the applications that other businesses can apply to it.
What's the app called specifically, or there's plenty of them?
So the app for Coinbase is just Coinbase on the App Store, and then the wallet would be Blockchain Wallet is the most popular one, but you also have Bitcoin.com has its own wallet. There's tons of different wallets out there that you can download.
Is there one that you specifically recommend, like for this story purpose?
Blockchain, I think, is probably the safest, most secure one. It's never been hacked. There's been, people have lost Bitcoins and gotten hacked, but it's more at that access point where people have hacked into the exchanges, not the blockchain itself, technology itself. So that's why if you were to invest in Coinbase, it's probably better to, store your money on a wallet, but in terms of just getting started, Coinbase is probably the best way to go for people.
So say I were to invest $100 today. I watch it grow, I watch it fall, whatever, and in 2 weeks I'm like, I want to pull this out now. Am I going to get hurt the way you do when you invest money and pull out, hit by taxes or anything like that?
Emotionally, you might get hurt. You might pull it out and then a week later, it jumps another 10 or 20%. But in terms of taxes, I don't believe so. No. Yeah, it's actually.
So definitely, you have to be conscious as a business owner and as an American to pay your taxes. The IRS is looking really close at all types of Bitcoin cryptocurrency now, and because it's becoming so valuable. So it is something that you really need to be aware of. And if you're selling things on your business, for instance, you still have to take 6% tax for the state of Florida, and you still have to share that how much Bitcoin or how much cryptocurrency you have with the government.
So you can actually use the Bitcoin marketplace. Doing a Google search will open up many of the access points, even through Wikipedia, just by doing a search that way. It'll open up to the Bitcoin marketplace that somebody can go ahead and access one of those 150,000 retailers. It really comes down to the scale of the transaction you're looking to do. You can buy homes with Bitcoin. There's people that have those available and offer for that. And that's also what I'd like to point out. It depends on how much you're looking to spend as far as what coin to use. If you're doing a business transaction, like for say a home, I would recommend that somebody look at Ethereum or Bitcoin. This way they can put particular stops or particular actions that need to be completed before it goes through. That's what Ethereum's technology is based off of. Now Bitcoin doesn't have that technology built into it, but if you're doing a large scale transaction, you can easily do that in Bitcoin and just keep it simplified. Now if you want to go out and buy a soda or snack food, I'd recommend using a coin like Litecoin. The key about the different coins is each of them has a specific purpose. Litecoin itself was created to be faster than Bitcoin. It's the Lightning coin is how they emerged, and they were meant to be silver to Bitcoin gold. So when you're talking about smaller transactions, you would consider a coin like Litecoin. And there's other of the 1,350 different cryptocurrencies available.
So to dovetail off of what Clifford was saying, the way I look at it in the future, it's going to kind of be like you're going to see Bitcoin as like your savings account, right? Like your stored value account. And then you're going to have other coins like Litecoin who are for specific purposes as your checking account that you're going to automatically be able to switch from coin to coin and buy certain things through that type of stored value. And then your savings account will grow, obviously, as Bitcoin grows in value.
And then you're doing business transactions.
Right.
To use Ethereum.
So this might sound silly, but you keep saying coins, so I keep thinking physical coins. Can you imagine like an ATM in the future?
Well, there is an ATM.
There is an ATM.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty much going mainstream that we can see, and we've seen our uptick here. We are at the Rocket Lounge every single month, and we have over 200 something members and growing. And this is a great place to meet because it's an incubator hub, and our future is growing also. So we're looking to expand our group into Naples and beyond our borders here. So pretty exciting.
Tell me about how many people are here.
Right now we have over 200 members that are part of Bitcoiners of Southwest Florida, our meetup group. You can go on meetup.com and you can find us on there and just join our group. Right now we have a monthly group where we meet, and it's everybody. So it's beginners. And yeah, exactly, the third Tuesday. It's beginners as well as people that are well informed about cryptocurrency. So it's a pretty cool group of people, dynamic.
So after people see this story on Friday and they have more questions, they can come here.
Absolutely. Please reach out to us. We are over anxious to tell people about cryptocurrency.
Facebook page too.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Bitcoin and cryptocurrency fans. And we have over 53,000 fans that watch what we're doing every single month.
Wow.
And explain to them about the ATM.
Yeah, as far as an ATM goes, there's actually an ATM in downtown Fort Myers that you could go buy Bitcoin at a local convenience store down here. And there's also a place called PJ Books that sells Bitcoin. So if you didn't want to go through an exchange, you can actually go to these two places. And there's also called localbitcoins.com where you could go on and find somebody who's selling it in our area.
So are they physical coins?
No, they're just called Bitcoins. They're actually stored on your wallet, on your digital wallet, on your telephone.
And that's how you'll pay.
Exactly. It's a QR code. It's actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
So once you determine what the amount is, let's say I like your sunglasses, and I say, I want to purchase those sunglasses. How much will you sell them for? And you say $50. I go onto my Coinbase account. I put in $50 US. It instantly shows me what I owe you in Bitcoin. And then you would hold up your wallet QR code, and I would hold up mine, and I would instantly transfer that to you. And it would go clink, clink on your phone. You would hear it, and you would know that you have it.
And people will understand that because that's similar to like Apple Pay or Venmo or whatever.
It is, yeah. Some people anyway,
We understand
Yeah, we have a tendency to cater to people who are really familiar, like millennials, for instance. Everything's about their phone. They know how to use their phone. They're not afraid of it. It's when you get to people that are kind of old school that they're like, I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and to that point, like millennials, my generation, we don't necessarily, we lived through, the real estate crash. So like banks are something that we're very skeptical over. So it is very similar to Venmo or Apple Pay, except that it's very much democratized. Like it's on your phone or your computer and you own it. When you do Venmo or Apple Pay or even PayPal, if I were to send that to you, that goes through centralized sources first. So technically, they're in control of that. When you're transferring Bitcoin, it's just from person to person. It's very much decentralized and democratized in that fashion.
You want to talk on the Bitcoin IRA that some of the more mature demographics are actually getting into?
Well, another reason that the value has increased is because of the funds that have just come on board. So.
Oh yes, yeah. So, and then recently, a lot of people have heard a lot about the CBOE and the CME allowing Bitcoin futures contracts. So that's kind of the perspective I come into with this trading, swing trading, and stuff like that with the different cryptocurrencies. So that's having the CBOE and the CME allow futures contracts has very much legitimized Bitcoin in a certain fashion. And you even have chatter of IRAs and different pension funds looking into adopting Bitcoin as part of their portfolios.
Are you afraid of it crashing?
So very much similar to the dot-com bubble in the early 2000s, right? Like people thought the internet was just going to go away after that crash, but now you have companies like Amazon, Facebook making more money on their websites than any company was at that point. So anytime you have something that has a very much of a short-term explosion of growth like we've seen with Bitcoin, there's going to be talk of a bubble, which it is a bubble. Of course it is a bubble, but it's not going to a bubble in the terms of like when it does crash, it's going to go away. Like this is going to be very much, we believe, very much a part of people's lives going forward in the next 3 to 5 years. Very similar to how iPhones weren't even invented in 2006, and now like people can't even imagine living without their phones. It's going to be very similar to that, we believe.
Right. When it comes to, I have actually people ask me that all the time. Aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about Bitcoin? And being one of the first people that accepted it in Southwest Florida in 2014, I actually was interviewed by somebody from your station, and they asked me, "Are you afraid of its collapsing?" And I said, "Absolutely not. It is going to go mainstream. The world is just finding out about digital currency, and this is the trend." So I think at the time it was $168, I want to say, and look at it today. So it's not going away. It is here to stay.
So we get questions on the bubble constantly. Is Bitcoin going to be a bubble? People like to look at the graph of Bitcoin and see how it's just going exponential, and then they get flashbacks of the bubble from the tulips back in, I want to say, like 1730, 1800, somewhere in that time frame. Now, when looking at traditional economics, it looks just like that. But the difference between Bitcoin and tulips is people weren't using tulips to go buy a car. People weren't using tulips to go buy a house. They were holding on and hoarding those tulips. And then because there was no circulation, it all falls apart. Bitcoin is different because it has circulation. There's over 150,000 businesses that are using it. And as long as Bitcoin continues to be circulated, whether it's through just a smaller community or through the community at large, it will always have a value. So in the sense that it could burst and go down in value, that's possible, but we're talking about to what extent it would drop. Bitcoin right now is shooting up so much because we have so many new people coming into Bitcoin. Now, should that burst and come down, it would levelize at some point of 2/3, 70%, 80%, some large percentage of it, but it's achieved mainstream acceptance, so it'll level out and be more stable at that number. And even if it were to have a catastrophic collapse, there's still a niche community of Bitcoin users. And those 150,000 businesses, not to mention the millions of people that are customers and clients of those businesses, would still be there. So it would go back to a level that Bitcoin has already been comfortable at, whether that's even 1,000. But obviously, I feel it'd be closer in the double-digit range. Mm-hmm. The thing is, the more mainstream it gets, the higher it's going to go. So right now, even if people see it as the Wild West and people can make a fortune, get in and make a fortune. Don't be so worried about what can happen 5, 10, 20 years down the road. Get in now. And if you're talking about just profits, it's just a matter of, I only got 100% return, and if I had stayed in, I could have got 300%. Either way, you got a return for very little risk and very little investment just to get into something. So there's all sorts of chatter about what the limit will be once Bitcoin does stabilize. And some people say it's going to be 60,000. There's another person that says Bitcoin's going to hit 1 million. Anywhere in between, John McAfee, right. Anywhere in between. If you got in now, you're fine. Yeah. Now, if you wait till it hits 60 and then that's the cap, it drops down to 40 and levelizes there, you just took a hit. But right now, it's hanging out at 17, and it's at the end of the quarter. So a lot of businesses haven't even really begun to invest. Come January, my feeling is that it's going to go well beyond the 17,000 mark, and I see the 60,000 being reasonable. Million,
possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say? But I have no qualms in telling somebody that it's not something that's going to go away overnight. You have not missed the boat, and investing now and just using it to circulate, get some things, is one of the best things that somebody can do. Because if you put it into dollars, the spending power of those dollars has only been going down. Whereas if you put it into Bitcoin, you could put in $100 through a Coinbase account, and with the way Bitcoin's been going, just in the last month, it's come up over 150%. So if you wake up with $250, you're not going to complain.
Mm-hmm. And is that rise really just because of how many people are starting to use it?
Yes.
Okay.
The large part of it is demand. Because there's such a high demand, it increases in value. Because there's more circulation, more people are using it, it increases in value. And that actually has also trickled down to the other currencies that are out there, the other coins, per se. And coins is the term that we use because people recognize that and they understand it's a smaller unit, traded value. But because it's willing to be accepted, that's what's going to give that value to it.
And are you guys trying to invite business owners to your meetings so that you can try to get them on board to start using it? I mean, are you talking to people locally here?
Anybody?
Yeah, absolutely. We do talk to business. Oh, in here?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Actually, business owners have been showing up at the Rocket Lounge in our meetings quite often because they are extremely interested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. Mm-hmm. And usually when they come, they find out about all the rest of these cryptocurrencies, and some of them actually cater better to their businesses. So they're fascinated, and it's so great to meet these people because The great thing about cryptocurrency is it encompasses everyone. You usually get a extreme wide range of ages that come to our meetings, and from everything, every political belief, every way of life, and it's really great because crypto unifies people. They all want to make money, and they're all fascinated by that.
And with respect to that, myself being the educational director and Tyler working with the marketing, we're going to be talking to local businesses how they can incorporate Bitcoin into their business and how they can use it as an investment for their business to grow, prosper, and expand.
So there's a variety of things that are propelling Bitcoin forward, and so you've heard about like a few of them, but also a lot of people are acknowledging the fact that there's a 21 million cap on Bitcoin. That means there will only be ever 21 million Bitcoins ever made. We're closely getting to the 17 million in circulation, and that is creating a lot of people to go, oh, I need to get in now. I need to get there before we get to the 21 million.
So to your point with the business owners too, like if you think there's a bubble happening now, just wait until like there's talk of eBay starting to accept Bitcoin. There's talk of like Uber and Amazon starting to partner with companies like Ripple. Microsoft and I think it's Oracle starting to partner with other coins like IOTA, and like so like once like the bubble hasn't even started yet. Like once companies start accepting Bitcoin, and once you have these big corporations starting to partner with these companies and starting to put their business models on this blockchain technology, that's really when you're going to start seeing the explosion in growth.
Are you using Bitcoin every day?
I personally hold on to my Bitcoin. I don't like to spend my Bitcoin.
I do a lot of trading, so day trading the different currencies paired up against each other. It's difficult now because the businesses, which is what we're going to do with a lot of the training, there's not that many businesses accepting it currently. So like once that becomes a little bit more mainstream, then yes, absolutely go to a business, use Litecoin to buy a coffee, and store your Bitcoin and let that accumulate in value, and then use the other coins to kind of do smaller transactions.
So I do closer to Tyler. He's more advanced as far as the trading aspect that I do than what I do, but that's generally what I do. I do what's referred to as swing trading, where you're moving in and out of particular currencies and going from that standpoint. And a large reason why I'm using Bitcoin in circulation is because a lot of businesses haven't begun accepting it yet, which is where that's also the space that we're going to step into to help businesses begin to use them as POS systems and to use them or point of sale systems, and just as a store of value and investment value for them as well. But the key is to make sure that we're actually circulating it. If we want to truly make sure Bitcoin doesn't turn into that feared bubble, it's going to require circulation and use of it. Next Tuesday, we are having a meeting here at the Rocket Lounge at 6 o'clock, and we meet every third Tuesday of the month here at the Rocket Lounge. We're also doing one-on-one training, and we do group training for people that want to come in and people that want to get friends and family to get the basics together. And we're putting together a Bitcoin 101 and Bitcoin My Business ideas, so that way other businesses they can learn to utilize it, as well as training financial planners and people that are working with investments and funds, how they can get a science, and most of all, just to make sure they improve their learning curve to understand how it works. Because I spoke with someone who asked their financial planner about Bitcoin, and the financial planner only knew that it existed. So we're going to be helping everybody educationally go along those routes and expand their knowledge so we can get more incorporation, circulation, and watch it go to the moon.
So what we want to do with this group as a Rocket Lounge, we need funding here for our startups in Southwest Florida. So in every week now in Berlin, in London, in San Francisco, you see ICOs with cryptocurrency to do VC funding for startups, and this is what we want to do. So they will help us to put this project together so that we can fund our investors can invest, and then we get equity in startups, and it helps them to grow with cryptocurrency because it's much more stable, we think, than the dollar in the future. It's a big goal, and that's unique. I think until now nobody has started this.
No, I don't think so.
Not particularly.
Not in Southwest Florida.
Nope.
Not here. So we're going to be the portal to the whole crypto world for Southwest Florida, and that's what we'd love to present and bring forward to everyone. As a news site, we're going to go through all the chatter, because there's going to be all sorts of rumors, saying how it's going to die. There's an awesome site called Bitcoin Obituaries that said the bubble burst on Bitcoin 600
something times.
over 600 times, where Bitcoin died and is never coming back. And then it again rises.
So they
from
write
the
an
ashes.
obituary for you and show everybody that.
Right, because this is what Bitcoin does. It's volatile.
Yeah.
And if somebody's not comfortable with volatility, they really shouldn't be getting into Bitcoin. But somebody that can understand that, and they can learn to profit from it, from an investment standpoint, and also just learn to test their mettle from a volatility standpoint.